What's up, everybody? This is Laz Alonso, and you're reading and watching Humor Mill Magazine.
Fast forward, a couple of steps now. You got Fast and the Furious, and I think the biggest thing in your career is probably Avatar to date.
Yeah.
Is that fair, son?
Yeah, no, I mean, Avatar by all means is probably the biggest movie that I've done budget-wise, $300 million movie. I mean, I still to this day thank the Lord for Spike Lee, because Spike really casted me from just watching me in a couple of scenes in Stomp the Yard, and trusted that I had the chops just by his own experience, saying I think this guy can carry, help carry, my next movie, his first war movie ever. He casted me on side of, 3 other amazing actors, Derek Luke, who I'm a big fan of, Mike Ely, Omar Benson Miller, who all these guys I've been watching and admiring the type of stuff they doing, to be in their ranks, as one of the 4 leads in this ensemble, to me was just like, wow, and to work with Spike. Right. So every film kind of has its own place in my heart as something that really changed my life or added something of a tremendous amount of value. And I can't really pick one over the other. The chance to work opposite Vin, in Fast and the Furious and be his, evil antagonist, I mean, I really had to get my weight up for that, mentally, more so than physically. I was in the gym working out every day and just getting, physically right, so I'll look the part. But I mean, just being able to pull off being a threat to him, was something that I felt like if I don't pull it off, then I'm gonna be a joke. Right. I'm gonna be a laughingstock. Right. So every movie has its challenge and its payoff. It's very hard for me to pick one over the other as like my biggest thing, because they've all really built me as an artist.
Okay, so we won't get you to pick one. We won't even get you to talk about Avatar, but we will ask you about your future in the films.
Sure.
What are you looking forward to in the next couple of roles that you're going to take? I mean, what's coming down the pike that you could talk about? Are you trying to get behind the scenes? The floor is yours.
Right now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm looking to really cross over into, being the lead of a film, carrying the movie on my shoulders, being the good guy, walking away with the girl at the end of the movie. So I've been entertaining, a lot of different independent films who are more, it's more in their best interest to hire me as their lead and my best interest to take it. I mean, you look at something like a Terrence Howard, who's been in this business for years, amazing actor. But you take this little movie called Hustle and Flow that no one ever thought it was going to do anything, and he really showed the world what he could do, all the way to being nominated for an Oscar. So you can't discount independent film. That's where you really see a lot of good work, a lot of good actors, come up through independent film, and that's the avenue that I'm kind of looking at right now. I'm not shying away from the studio films, but I'm really interested in getting a nice, gritty independent. That can really, like, show the world what I can do as a leading man.
Any television that you might want to check into?
I actually did a pilot this year that I really loved. It was called U.S. Attorneys for CBS. Right now we're kind of in limbo. We don't know if it's going to get picked up for mid-season or not. But television, for me, I mean, if you're going to get married to a character for a long stretch, 5 to 7 years, hopefully, if it goes that long, you really want to love what you're doing. And one thing that really inspired me about this character was that, seeing Obama and what he accomplished last year in the elections, this character was a smart, black man, powerful. He's one of the U.S. attorneys in Manhattan, taking down, big, humongous cases. And it just reminded me of that type of role model. But at the same time, U.S. attorneys get their hands dirty. They deal hand in hand with the FBI, and if they got to throw on a vest and go in, after a suspect, they'll do it. So it was something that I really liked. I felt like it married both worlds of both intelligence as well as bravado, and that's why I did that show.
Okay, Laz, I would like to ask you about Avatar, and I know you can't talk about it, but
Right.
can you just say one thing? How did you feel when you got the role? Can you express to people how you felt when you got it?
When I got Avatar, for me, it was a very emotional moment because, you know, I felt like I was in a place at that time where I was working, but, you know, I wasn't getting to that next level of work where my character actually contributed to the storyline of the film. To where if you remove that character, you have a very important part of the film missing. The film can't move forward without it. You know, and for an actor, that's something really important. You know, coming in and doing a performance that people remember is cool, but when your character actually contributes to the story, then you're really adding value to that film. So, you know, that's where at the point where I was at that point in my life, I was like, man, you know, thank God that I'm working, you know, first and foremost. But, you know, what I'm shooting for, what I'm looking forward to now getting is roles that are much more integral and important to the script, to the storyline, to the art. And I was watching Entourage, and I was sitting on my couch at home, and I was seeing, you know, the episode where James Cameron and Vinny Chase are talking about Aquaman. You know, and I was thinking to myself, one day I'm gonna have that same conversation with James Cameron. And when I speak and when I feel something, I almost say it like in a prayer. You know, so I'm almost like, Lord, you know, Jesus, please allow me to one day have this conversation with James Cameron. But at the same time, I felt like it was gonna happen. And I had auditioned for Avatar in July, right when I got back from Stomp the Yard. And I didn't hear back anything until November. So I'd forgotten about it. I'd even forgotten about the film, the audition. And in November, I got a call from my agent, and they were like, you know, you're one of 3 out of everybody that he's seen thousands of people, and you're his top choice. He has to audition all 3, but he wants you to come in face to face and work with him personally. It was a work session, and see what happens. You know, so for me already, I felt like I had gotten the role, just the fact that I got to be in a room with him and work with him and play, you know, and do these scenes. So I went in and we played around and we did the scenes, and I put my heart and soul into it as if we were filming, you know, on set. And after we were done, he said, you know, I want you to go upstairs and, you know, sign all these release forms. I'm going to allow you to read the script. Here are my numbers. He's like, you know, I still got to see a couple other people, but I have a good feeling about this. You know, I feel that we're going to move forward. And that's exactly what happened, you know. So to this day, I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity. And to think back that, you know, it started with me, you know, watching this episode and thinking one day I'm going to have that conversation. And then I ended up having the same conversation that they were having creatively about the character and what he wants to do with it. I was just sitting there trying to be cool, but inside I'm thinking of months earlier when I saw that episode. So that was probably my most emotional moment when I got a part, because I felt like somehow, you know, I really felt like God was listening to me at that point when I booked that movie.
Well, thank you for taking out the time, brother. I really appreciate that. And if there's anything you want to tell us that you know you got, that you can tell everyone in the camera, we appreciate it. But if you don't,
I just go check out Avatar in December.
Thank you.